Hey, Kevin, thank you so much for joining me today. Before we really dive into the interview, just take a moment to introduce yourself.
Yeah, my name is Kevin Panke. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Radical Design Company in Atlanta, Georgia. And what we do is we specialize in product design, experience design, and design strategy to really focus on customer and employee experiences. A lot of our clients come to us with problems and we just solve them.
Awesome, awesome. So how long have you been in that industry, and then how long have you been running Radical Design?
Easier question is started Radical about 3.5 years ago. Really been in the industry since for over 20 years. In the design industry, working at both large and small shops. Started more on the traditional side of things. There was no internet back then, and became sort of attached to it. Interactive guru were some of my titles, and that kind of gravitated towards the tech industry, and grew up with the internet. So a lot of the stuff that I did was not just I did the work, I sold the work, and now I'm leading and trying to do my own thing within the industry.
Awesome, awesome. So I would imagine over the 20 years of experience in that industry, it shifted quite significantly with the move to more digital. How did that affect you as you kind of grew in the industry?
Yeah, I mean, back in the day, I think a lot of people are so used to their laptops, but we were attached to a cord back then. So in my bottom drawer was a blanket and a pillow, because when you were uploading large print files to an FPT site or FTP site, you couldn't let it time out every 5 minutes. So you had an alarm that would go off every 4 minutes and 45 seconds. And you would have to move your mouse to make sure it didn't time out. And it timed out a lot. And so you would spend the night in the office making sure that those large print ads got uploaded. So that's kind of a little nugget of fun when you think about how the industry has shifted. So now you can work anywhere, and you can pretty much do anything with a computer that's no more larger than just a notebook. So I think that is the transition that I've kind of gone through, is where you were attached to a wall to now you can work anywhere and sort of do anything regards to it. So when I first started, we didn't really have a lot of the software. So we were figuring out ways to design for the internet in creative ways. So, how could you take something that was more built for print and then leverage that software to then be able to push it into development? So that's kind of where the whole realm of the digital has gone for me in regards to this industry.
Awesome, awesome. So you've been running Radical Design for a few years now. What are your goals? Where are you looking to take the company long term?
Yeah, our foundational kind of approach is to work with awesome people, doing awesome things and having an awesome time. So the reason why we started Radical was to really get away from change requests, really just doing anything for the client to make a buck. What we really focus on is design quality and really relationships. And so, and that has really proven out at Radical, are the relationships we form with our clients to really help them solve their toughest problems and then allow them to reach their goals. So when we look at businesses and organizations, a lot of people just want to say, well, it's all focused on the customer experience. Well, we focus on it a little bit differently in regards to understanding our day-to-day clients have their metrics and goals that they have to hit. We understand that maybe their business has their goals and metrics that they need to hit, as well as the customer. And the customer could be both internal and external. So we do a lot of employee experiences to help them be more efficient with their jobs, reduce call volume, save money. So when you think about all those aspects and all the goals between those three different target groups, that's usually where you find where we need to kind of go within that design experience, the design strategy, to solve not just one problem, but everyone's problems.
Absolutely. So you talked about finding that ideal client that is really the best fit for you guys. Who are you looking for? Who is that target client?
Well, a lot of the target clients that we work with today are clients that have problems. So they come to us with a problem. One client that we just had in the healthcare, or still have, but one project we just worked on is that they came to us saying that they lose about $2 to $4 billion a year in referrals. So how can we help them with that referral between their primary providers and their specialties? And so that's what we helped them with, develop a SaaS platform front end that would allow their organization to maintain their patients inside their healthcare group. So when we think about our ideal clients, we're working with innovation, technology, and product teams, and we kind of augment in some cases those teams. Other times we're called their design strategy partners, and we work really closely with our day-to-day clients as well as their tech team, product teams, designers themselves. So we're a little bit more higher in the food chain, I guess you would say, in regards to the type of work they're doing. This is the work that maybe their internal teams can't do, because it's not just doing marketing or maintaining a website. We're solving our clients' toughest problems when it comes to design and experiences.
Yeah, awesome. So as you were building this out and stepping out on your own industry, what is a mistake that you've made or a key lesson you've learned along the way that anyone else could learn from?
Don't start a business in a global pandemic. That's the easy one, and then followed by possibly a recession. But probably grew too fast. So we've had to sort of cut back just recently in regards to the company. We were started to lose ourselves a little bit into production. And then, with everything that's going on, some of our clients had to reprioritize some of their budgets. And unfortunately, some of our clients were let go from their organizations. So when you think about that, maybe our workforce wasn't really necessarily geared towards what our bread and butter is, which is that design strategy. We were kind of a little bit more on that production side of design, which is fun, but it's not necessarily what we do best.
Gotcha. So you kind of honed down that offering to really focus on what you are the best at.
Yeah, we decided to kind of talk to our clients at the end of the year and just kind of do a little bit of a review with them and understand what they look at us as an organization, and what they when they look at us, what are we best known for within their organizations. And we had to kind of shift our priorities to really get back to why we started Radical, and what our clients demanded of us and want from us. So we kind of shifted our focus to really align to our clients' needs from us.
Yeah, absolutely. So as you've gone through this process, have you had a key coach or key mentor that has stood out for you? And if so, why would you say that person?
We have a couple different advisors, both that are friends and family, kind of of us that have had that entrepreneur spirit. So we've learned a lot from them, and we try to ask as many questions, because we know we don't know everything. Since this is our first rodeo, kind of in owning our own company. I'm also part of the Vistage group this year.
Yeah.
And so that's been really helpful with the group that I have, with bringing a lot of different problems and experiences from different industries, different types of organizations, from education, construction to one of the members builds playgrounds for kids. So having all those different viewpoints really helps us understand the problems at hand, but then also gives us the confidence that we're doing the right thing when we have to make some of those tough decisions, both good and bad in some regards. So that's kind of really been a great group to be a part of, but also always having a sounding board with our family and friends that have gone through this, that do it for a living and that have been very successful at it over the years.
Awesome. Awesome. So you've obviously gone through some shifts in the industry in your time. What are some challenges you see as you continue to move forward? What does the future look like for you?
Well, we're a little bit of a niche, so it's not for everybody. It's where organizations really want to look at themselves, and sometimes it's hard. So there's the good, the bad, and the ugly. So when you think about design strategy, we're working with organizations that admit that they have a problem and they want to solve it in whatever capacity that might be. And unfortunately, a lot of the work that we do, we can't necessarily show because it's our client's competitive edge. So we're looking at the future, not just 3 to 5 years down the road, but sometimes how do they shift their organization to have a different offering? And it's all from a design perspective. So, I talked about some of the problems we faced with our clients, but like one example was a railroad had a 68% on their customer service end of the year survey. The client came to us and asked why. In the long run, it was about managing their workforce. And so after we did our design research, strategy, and vision, we came up with an app that basically just told them where their cars were at. Because the customers wanted to be able to move their workforce. You might get mad at AT&T and Verizon for 4-hour service level agreements where you have to wait around for 4 hours to get your internet back on. Well, for the railroad, it's 24 hours. That's 3 8-hour shifts. How do you make sure the workforce is there and you're not paying them just to sit? But then when the railroad car does come, how do you make sure that people are there to unload it? So that's kind of the app that we helped vision for them to then ultimately implement to be able to manage their workforce. And the customer survey results went tremendously higher the following year because they were able to trust the data that they were looking at. It also allowed the customer service department to get back to what they do best, which was more around helping businesses with logistic needs rather than answering the question, where's my car?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So you touched on this a little bit earlier in some of the lessons that you've learned, but if you had to recommend one piece of advice to a young person starting their first business today, what would that piece of advice be?
Stay true to why you started the company. I think that's where we got lost a little bit. My business partner and I, we complement each other. So his name's Ryan Lefkoff, and he's more on the experience side of things. So, and I'm on the visual design. So we sort of meet in the middle with design strategy, and we complement each other. But reason why we started this was to get back into the work, and we were missing it when we were working at some of the other companies. It was more around maybe selling or writing stuff or being a little bit of a SME, a service, like an expert in our field. And we just really missed actually building stuff and designing things. And so we kind of lost that a little bit for trying to run a larger shop. And I think that some of the situations that happened with our clients allowed us to look in the mirror a little bit and realize that maybe we need to get back to the work which ultimately makes us happy every day.
Yeah. Awesome. So what's the best way to get in touch with you, Kevin, or to learn more about Radical?
Yeah, I mean, we're always around on social, mainly Instagram and LinkedIn. Our website is radicaldesign.co. There's no com, just the company. So it's just a CO at the end, but that's the easiest way. We're actually going through a little bit of a site redesign. So tomorrow it might look a little bit different than today. So.
Okay, awesome. And my last question for you today is, what most inspires you as you continue to move forward in the business?
Design quality. I think that when you start looking at everything that's happening with artificial intelligence and just where people are going with design in regards to picking up one set of like icons and using it across the board of all their clients, I think really making sure design quality is still a focus within our industry. And I think that if we can do that and make sure that the experiences are the best they can be for not just customers, but for the business and their day-to-day clients, the sky's the limit.
Awesome. Awesome. Kevin, thank you so much for joining me today and sharing your experience and telling us a little more about Radical. I wish you the best of luck in the future. Thanks again.
Thanks for having me, Nate.